welcome to a brand new video, ladies and gentlemen. In this one, I'm gonna go a bit more in depth with something I've talked about quite a lot on the channel. That is, Robby's turn to the dark side, so to speak, and why this is the most chilling scene, for me at least, in Cobra Kai. And I feel like the whole of Robby's arc has been building to this point, mostly from Season 2. Like in Season 1, you had a few nuggets and seeds and hints here or there, but Season 2, as soon as Kreese was brought back into the fold, he's like, why is he with over at LaRusso? Why is he there? You should be training that boy. He should be here with us. And I feel like Kreese's line about, you are going to regret it, was simply a way of saying, look, I'm going to go and get your son. I'm going to get your son. I'm going to recruit him to the fold. And, long term, Robby will realize Kreese's manipulation and whatever. And he sees Robby as a means to get to Johnny. That's why Kreese has mostly got Robby on his side. And he sees him as potentially what he would have wanted Johnny to be. He wanted Johnny to be like his heir apparent, his offspring, to carry on forth the Cobra Kai teachings and whatnot. But the reason for me why this scene is so chilling is, Star Wars references aside, in any medium, I think there's something really powerful about when blood turns, when blood turns against each other, if you know what I mean. People related by blood, or people related by family, or consequence, or people, not even blood, people who just, have a bond, or they have a connection, they have a history of just, either good or bad. There's something quite powerful about it, and my favorite part in this whole encounter between Johnny and Robby is not just the power level. They clearly get, the power balance right, Robby can barely lay a finger on Johnny. I love the bit where Robby kind of sweeps the floor, Johnny just simply lifts his leg up. But with every single hit, I think it really dawns on Johnny in this scene how badly he's screwed up with Robby. Yes, Robby's done stuff, Robby's made mistakes, Robby can let his emotions cloud his judgment, but overall, had Johnny have really tried more, not just this season, but for his whole life, Robby wouldn't have gone in this direction. And luckily the Miyagi-Do teachings are still within him that can be the key to his redemption. But for a little while, at least for majority of it, the whole of Season 4, we're going to see this kind of Robby where he's not holding back anymore. He's not, balanced. He's not centered. He's going to let all the anger unleash. And the minute he tries to swing for Johnny, it transitions into my favorite shot in probably the whole of Season 3. And I'm a sucker for visual storytelling. When Johnny says, I won't fight you, and Robby's trying to sweep the leg and, he's sort of pushing Johnny forward to the corner of the dojo, you start to see strike first, strike hard, no mercy on the wall start to slowly and gradually come more and more into the shot. Now, you could say, well, it's on the wall, Jacob. Of course it's going to come into the shot. Well, yes, true. And, I have no idea if they intended for this to happen, but I think it's very symbolic of Robby's descent into this sort of Cobra Kai mania, where with every swing he's just becoming more and more and more in tune with the Cobra Kai way of fighting. And the more he pushes Johnny towards the corner, you start to see the text slowly start to come in and just gradually start to come in more and more and more, to the point where he pushes Johnny out of shot, and it's just him there with the text on the wall behind him in the background with the weapons. And then, he gets slammed into the locker. But I think it's so chilling. Like, I don't know if they did this by purpose or by accident, but for me at least, it's one of them kind of chilling scenes where it's just a great visual representation of where Robby's at this point in the season and where he is regarding Johnny. And I think for most of Season 4, he doesn't want anything the hell to do with Johnny, Daniel, Sam, Miguel, Miyagi-Do. I think he's going to completely distance himself from that for the entirety of Season 4. Not forever, but for Season 4 at least. As I've said, he's got to get all the anger out of his system and whatnot. But looking at this from Johnny's perspective, I think it really just dawns on him in this scene how much he's really failed Robby. It feels like, at least to me, he knows everything to say to Miguel. He knows all the right things to say to Miguel. But Robby, he doesn't know, he doesn't say anything to, Robby the same way he does with Miguel. And arguably that it's because there's a different situation. There isn't 16, 17, nearly 18 years of history. So you got to take that into consideration. But I feel like there's something quite chilling about Johnny starting up this dojo, reaching out to his son, always being on the opposite side to his son. And the time that Robby is finally in Cobra Kai, Johnny's not even there anymore. He's nowhere to be seen. And when he comes in, you know, Johnny's mentality, and I love the transition, right, when it cuts back from the Kreese flashback with the general, and the guy's like, you know, 3, 2, 1, go, and then it cuts to Johnny slamming the door open and all that. I think seeing Robby just standing there with Kreese, Johnny knows how far Kreese can take Robby, and Robby's in such a vulnerable position right now where Kreese can just use him to his full advantage. And it feels like Robby's biggest problem is the absence of a father has made him yearn for a father figure or a father. He yearned for a father, Johnny was never there. He found a father figure in Daniel. Daniel, in his eyes, betrayed him. He thought maybe I'll get my father back. Nope. So then he finds another father figure. You know, it's sort of like a father and son kind of situation. I'll delve into that in a separate video and why that's important, you know, and why so many people lose their way because of lack of a father figure. But I just love this, like, I wanted to do this video just to highlight this specific moment, right? I love just the visual cue and storytelling. I have no idea if they intended this. I have no idea if this was what they wanted to happen and it just kind of happened by accident. But I think even if it is by accident or it wasn't intended, it's still a very good representation of what Robby's going through in this particular moment. And the text in the background slowly just gradually coming more and more into the shot as Robby's pushing Johnny back and back and back. It's very symbolic. It's very, very symbolic. And I honestly cannot wait, right, to see Robby in a Cobra Kai gi next season. I think that's going to be great because this is his Cobra Kai roots. You know, if Miguel was never in the picture and things were different between him and Johnny, you know, you could argue and make the case, well, what if Robby would have just been in Cobra Kai anyway? You know, that there is consideration there. I mean, in season 1, you know, when Johnny tries to reach out to him and Robby basically goes, you know, go away, get out of here. He goes to Cobra Kai, and then it's only when he sees Miguel with Johnny that he decides to go and get a job at LaRusso. I think he might have joined then. I think it's very possible he might have joined then. History could have been very different. Comment down below if you want me to do a little what if on that, because that could be a fun what if to do. But I relate it so much to like Anakin and Obi-Wan, Luke and Vader, because there's something quite powerful about it when people of the same blood who are going up against each other, you know, and in this case, it reminds me also of Luke and Kylo Ren, where Luke doesn't want to fight Ben, you know, he's on the defense, and Johnny doesn't want to hurt his own son, you know, he throws him into the locker because it's probably just a reflex of everyone trying to attack him every single episode. But I think this could really sort of pave way for Johnny and Robby to come together in future. But at least for now, we're going to see, like, Vader, Robby. You know, I really want a line from Dimitri where, you know, when Hawk approaches Dimitri in the comic book shop, and he says, what is this, your Red Hulk phase? I would honestly love, it would be a bit, you know, a bit on the nose, but it would be so cool if he's like, what is this, like your Vader phase or something? That would be really cool. And just seeing Robby, you know, with the short, like, I think it's also his hair. Let's be real. Like, the hair in the first 2 seasons, you know, I thought his hair was cool, but his hair looks a bit darker here. You know, it's like, I don't know if it's this gel or whatever, but it just looks darker. Like, he feels more like a darker character now. And I've said it before, the most tragic type of character is the one who wants to do good, the one who wants to be better, that eventually just gives up, says, you know what, I'm going to embrace what I really am. I can't be arsed with this anymore. No one's really, you know, giving me much to go on. I'm just going to go and join the dark side for a little bit. And I feel like him and Kreese are going to be just deadly next season. You know, regardless of who Cobra Kai bring in. They can bring in Sean, they can bring in whoever. I feel like even if they bring in Sean, Robby is still going to be leaps and bounds ahead of any other fighter they bring in. With all the training that he's had thus far and all the anger that he's got within him, Kreese is going to look at Robby as his prized pupil. You know, him and Tory, and KYLO like, you know, the utility asset. So, guys and girls, leave your comments down below what you thought of this scene. You know, it's one of them kind of things where I've talked about it before and why the scene was powerful, but I wanted to just sort of delve into a visual cue that I really loved. Talk a little bit more about Johnny's side of perspective on it and what he feels and what he thinks. And, you know, lest we not forget that while Robby's knocked out, Kreese sees an opportunity to try and stab Johnny, you know, as he would. So, I feel like maybe for season 4, we need to kind of maybe dial back some of the death kind of situations. You know, we've almost killed so many people in the show now. And I do get asked this question. Do I think they'll kill anyone off? No, I don't think they will. Here's why. Karate Kid is not Star Wars. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. It's not James Bond. It's nothing like that. Karate Kid, barely anyone would die. You know, like an older figure would die, like Miyagi's father, or you hear about Daniel's father. Well, something like that. Maybe Johnny's stepfather, Sid, maybe he could pass on. Daniel's mum, perhaps. Someone said, do I think Robby's mum could die? I mean, you know, I don't think so, but you never know. Tory's mum, maybe. You know, those are possible. But in terms of, like, you know, people like Robby or whatever, Robby's part of the next generation. You know, this is... Cobra Kai isn't just a continuation, it's a passing of the torch. And in however many years from now, we'll see a continuation where Robby, Miguel, Sam, Hawk, Dimitri, and whoever are, you know, they are the next apparent, like, senseis or whatever, and they're passing it forth to the next generation. Sort of like how, you know, regardless if you like it or not, the sequel trilogy has, you know, been like that kind of thing for Star Wars, the same way the prequels and the originals were. It's a generational thing. And as far as the adults, you know, Johnny's had so much crap through his life, he needs a happy ending. Daniel is the original student, he deserves a happy ending. You know, let's not have everything end all dark and broody and miserable and depressing. You know, Karate Kid's always about hope, it's about forgiveness, it's about, you know, finding your balance. And that's why it's so chilling and so tragic that Robby goes this path, because he was finding that balance, he was finding that center, especially in season 1. He was really finding that balance. I think in season 2 he kind of sort of went a bit more towards his Cobra Kai roots, just not fully. But in season 1 he definitely wanted to make changes, he definitely sort of grew, and I feel like it is such a shame what happened to him. But, you know, it's all part of the long stretch arc, as I've said. You know, it's one of them things about Karate Kid 3 where Daniel joining Cobra Kai should have been a really emotional moment, and in that movie it was, but I feel like it could have been way more impactful than it was, if you know what I mean. Like, him joining Cobra Kai, yeah, it was, you know, it was like hard. It wasn't hard to watch. It was a bit sad, but it was like, you know Daniel would go back to Miyagi anyway. You knew that was gonna happen. And Karate Kid 3 is it's a very interesting film. Like, I really like it, but it is very bizarre. You know, I'm happy about Terry Silver coming back. Best part of that film by a mile. You know, just a crazy, maniacal villain. Hopefully they bring Mike Barnes back. That would be cool. But yeah, you know, this is just an extended Daniel's arc, and I feel like because we've seen Johnny, you know, go from strength to strength, this really highlights Johnny's failure as a father. Like, I know we all love Johnny, I know we all root for him, and yeah, he's turned his life around, he's turned a corner, but I feel like in season 4, you know, Johnny and Daniel are not going to give up on Robby. They're going to reach out many times trying to get him back, you know, and now they're together. Now they're together, which is exactly what Robby wanted them to do. He wanted them to be on the same page, and I feel like now they are. There is likelihood that he could get, you know, they could sway him back to them. Now they're together, they can work together on that. Now they're not divided and so focused on fighting each other, they can really put the priorities straight. And now that Miguel and Sam are on the same page and Hawk's on the same page as everyone else, they can really focus on Robby. And also, you know, Hawk, I think, will be Daniel's, like, really main student next season. I think Daniel and Hawk have a lot of work to do, and I think he's going to turn Hawk into an absolute beast. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. I've got a nice little juicy video about that for you guys. But anyway, guys and girls, leave your comments down below about this scene. What did you think? What did you feel? Where do you think this is ultimately going to go? What do you think the end game for this is? And yeah, like, major Star Wars vibes. Major Star Wars vibes. It's sort of like Mace Windu and Palpatine, you know, at first. So Johnny's Mace Windu, Kreese is like Palpatine, right? And then Robby's like Anakin. It's like, you can't, he must stand trial. And then as soon as he pulls Johnny off, Johnny transforms into like Obi-Wan, and then it's Anakin versus Obi-Wan all over again, or like a reverse Luke and Vader kind of thing. And the transition very much reminds me of when Luke is trying to, like, you know, beat Vader in Return of the Jedi, and the camera's panning across the staircase and all that. Reminds me of that. But I just love the visual cue as Robby's just swinging and, you know, sweeping and trying to hit Johnny and land punches. You know, the text in the background just comes into shot. I really love it. I think it's beautiful. It's something that I always end up looking for while I watch, like, shows and movies and stuff, because I really feel like the background can really pay into what's going on. And the latest Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode, I think the room where Zemo, Sam, and Bucky were staying, there was like a stained glass. I think it, you know, had like the red, white, and blue. Very symbolic. You know, it's there are some more, you know, fancy terms for it, but you know, I'll just say it's symbolic so I don't confuse you lot. But anyway, leave your comments down below, guys. I will see you all in another video soon, and we march forward to 10k subscribers. Let's get it.